My wife, when I met her, she goes, your whole family's using you. Let's go to
$50,000. It's not a loan. It's a gift. I never want it back from you on one condition.
So my parents asked me for 40 to 50K for a down payment for a second home.
Oh God, no, don't do that.
Welcome back. Today we're diving into the messy, awkward, and expensive world of the bank of family. I saw these 3 TikToks floating around about my relatives asking for money, and I knew we had to talk about it. Because as a banker, I see the aftermath of this every day. I see the joint accounts gone wrong. I see the parents who can't retire because they're funding a 30-year-old lifestyle business. You want to help the people you love, but there's a very fine line between being a safety net and being an ATM. We're going to look at 3 different angles here. The emotional manipulation, which is fun, the billionaire approach from Kevin O'Leary, and the tough love approach from the Ramsey team. If you've ever had that awkward text message asking for just a few $100 until Friday, this one's for you. Let's get into it.
my wife, when I met her, she goes, your whole family's using you. Let's go to dinner, and I don't want you to pay the bill. I'm like, I always pay the bill. She's like, but let's just not pay it one time. And so there's like 20 of us at dinner, and she said, we'll individually get our own checks tonight. Everybody looked at me like this at the end of the table. As I got my check, I felt really weird. But my wife, Jacqueline's like, we're gonna see. Everybody paid their bill. They got up. Nobody even gave me a hug, and they walked out. My wife goes, this is how things have been going in your life. They say what you don't have as a kid, you crave as an adult. So I thought when I made a lot of money, I was like, dude, I'm just gonna buy everything for everybody, and then everybody's gonna love me. And then my wife's like, dude, you can't buy people's love.
Wow. I can relate to this because I'm not rich. I am not rich by any means. I am trying to be, but I am not rich. But when it comes to this and covering tabs, especially when I invite people, but sometimes I do when I'm invited, I just pick up the tab. I do. In the beginning, when I was in a relationship with my wife, we were dating at the time, she was like, why did you do that? Why'd you do what? You just covered the entire tab for us and your family. It was probably like 15 or 20 of us. Why did you do that? I just have always done that. I don't even think about it. It's just, I don't know. I just felt like doing it. I didn't want people to go through the hassle of some of them trying to act like they're gonna pay or pull out their wallet or split or blah. While we were there, everybody was having a good time, and I didn't want anybody or folks to start worrying about splitting checks, splitting bills, this and that, and I just covered it. This wasn't a one-time thing. I would habitually, if I were to go out, and if it was with my friends, and if it was my family, I would cover the bill. And I don't know, I never really thought much of it, and my wife kind of got on me about it. There was this one time, I will say, and we went out. It was my wife, my family, my 2 kids at the time. We didn't have our 3rd one yet. I went out with my cousin, his wife, and his 2 kids, and we went to a sushi restaurant. So it was just 2 families having a great time, and the bill came. But the bill came with a receipt already paid. And I was like, what? So I look at my cousin, I was like, what's happening here? He's like, don't worry about it, cousin, I got you. What do you mean, don't worry about it, cousin, I got you? You know how this works. I always pick up the tab. And he picked up the tab. He picked up the tab for all of us. And he said, you know what? You always cover the tab. It's about time we cover the tab for you. And I didn't realize it, but it's a big deal. It really is a big deal when someone, and especially family, covers a meal or just covers any expense, and it meant a lot. And I was just like, wow. Is this how everybody felt when I was covering the tab? Because when he covered it, I was like, wow. I just felt like, oh wow, that is so cool. He is so generous, because I know that bill for sushi was not cheap, and that could have been used for his family or his kids or anything, but he chose to cover it and spend that money on us at that time. So sometimes karma hits back in good ways, but sometimes it doesn't, and people forget and they don't even think anything of it. Oh, I got a free meal. But that meant a lot, and I told him thank you, but thank you again, cousin. Good job. Anyway, let's look at the comments. Your spouse will make you aware of things you never notice. Facts, 100%. And again, I never thought anything of it until my wife told me, hey, what are you doing? That's a lot. That could be for us. Just cover your half. She's not Dutch, but she goes Dutch, if you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the bill. The silence spoke volume. These comments aren't it. No one should ever expect someone to pay for them, period. She was looking out for him. All right, let's take a look at the next one.
More money, more problems? Yes, yes. I'll tell you something about money. It's a fantastic thing because it buys you freedom, but it makes your life complicated because a lot of people want some of it from you for free, particularly family members. This is a huge issue. Now, here's how you solve that problem. And I've been doing this for years and years and years. And I'm not saying this is good or bad or what you should do. I'm telling you what I do. Okay, family member comes to me and says, look, I want to build a restaurant. I need you to give me $150,000 to get started. I don't want to go into partnership with somebody in my extended family. That really ruins Thanksgiving dinner. So what I say to them is, look, you've never asked me for money before. I'm going to give you, in that case, $50,000. It's not a loan. It's a gift. I never want it back from you on one condition and one condition only. You never ask me for money again. Ever. Ever. You never come to me again for money, and we never talk about this again. Ever. Here's the check. And then I go back to polishing my eggs.
Wow. Well, that's how a billionaire handles it. Here's 50. Shut up and get out of my face. I'm not a billionaire. I don't have 50. I barely have 500. So I cannot relate. But I've been in situations where actually friends have asked me for money in the thousands. And what I do for a living, underwriting, I assess risk, I mitigate risk, and I determine if it's worth making this loan, determining if this loan is going to pay us based on 5 C's of credit. In addition, just their one of the 5 C's, their capacity, right? So how do I know that this person is going to pay me back? Am I going to have collateral? How am I going to hold them to it? Do they have experience? So this is really near and dear to me because it's what I do every day. It's not family members, but it's customers. And we have to assess, you want to venture into, he was talking about this restaurant business. Do you have experience in it? Or have you been working at the post office and all of a sudden you just want to be a restaurateur and open your own restaurant, right? Well, it's a lot more than just opening a restaurant and cooking. There's the whole business aspect to it, right? You have to determine your costs. Your labor is going to be a big factor. Location, right? Is that the right restaurant, niche, or type of food, culinary that's right for that area? It's just a lot that goes into it. Because the main thing is, can you pay me back? And if you're expecting to be paid back. In some situations, like what Kevin was saying, you just don't really expect them to give you that money back because you probably know they'll fail, right? In whatever their venture is, or whatever they're asking the money for. So I get that aspect of it, but for me, I look at it as what I do on a day-to-day basis. So I just assess the risk I'm about to get in if I choose to put myself in that risk where I'm going to put my funds into this person and see if I can get anything back. So it's harder because it's family. You got to see them every day, right? Friends too, sometimes if you interact with them either daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, whatever the frequency. But if you will constantly have to see these people again and they owe you money, it gets awkward. So, real quick. All right, let's take a look at the comments. Mr. Wonderful, could I please get a car? Only $30K. I'll never ask again. If only it were that easy. I was not expecting that, Mr. Wonderful. I helped my friend 3 times with a good amount of money, which I never expected to get back. And then he kept on asking for more. I blocked him. What is money if I can't help family members? Or maybe because I'm Arab from Kuwait, family is everything. Of a cultural twist to it there. All right, let's take a look at the next video.
So my parents asked me for 40 to 50K for a down payment for a second home.
Oh God, no! Don't do that.
Okay, can Michael finish his question?
Okay, go ahead.
So they currently live about 10 hours away from the rest of us siblings, and they don't have the down payment for that home. The reason for them not being able to move and be closer to us is my father is waiting to finish 5 more years at his job to collect a pension, and they're wanting to have the flexibility to be closer, but to have their own place. I'm 25 years old, just got out of my own debt, and I'm really unsure what to do.
So what they're asking you is a couple of things. They've created a set of principles for their life. We're going to stay here for 5 more years. We don't want to be uncomfortable when we travel. We want to have our own place. Problem is, they're grown adults, but they can't afford these principles they've put into motion. So they come to their 25-year-old child and said, you make our dreams that we can't afford, you make our principles concrete, because we can't.
Right.
And it's not your job. And by the way, this will mess up your relationship. I would tell you, there's a financial reason to not do this, but the main thing is, dude, it will mess up your relationship with your dad. So do you have $25,000 in cash you can just hand him?
Yeah. I'm debt free now, quite a bit in a savings account right now that he's aware of. Obviously, he helps me look at my financials. He's the only one I talk to my financials about.
You need to stop doing that, by the way.
Yeah.
He's violated that trust, and so you need to get a SmartVestor Pro and have that person do that. I love my dad more than life itself, and him and I don't go through the intimate details of our finances together. I have a person, and he's got a person, and that helps preserve our relationship.
Right.
I hate this for you, man.
Yeah, I'm planning to talk with them in a few months about it, to the both of them,
Yeah.
and just let them know. But obviously,
And
I wanted some advice.
For sure.
I would the language I would use is, thank y'all so much for reaching out, and that means a lot to me that y'all have noticed how I've turned my things around. That's pretty cool. I've got some pretty clear financial goals that I'm trying to hit, and so I'm not in a place where I can loan money to family members right now.
Sure. So much.
Man, that's gotta be a tough conversation, especially with your dad too. And you've already talked to your finances, or your dad knows the ins and outs and the actual balances that you have as it relates to your finances. That's why it's so hard to be so open, but how can you not? He's your father, you know what I mean? So when my dad was alive, I told him everything, whether it was finances, my relationships, my career, everything. He was my best friend. I told him everything. But he never, ever did anything like this, where this man and his son's relationship is messed up because the dad took advantage. It's that trust. He knows how much his son has because the finances that his son shared with him, now he's using it on him. I know you got it. You're debt free. I know you got the 25 on you. You guys want us close? Well, it's going to take me 5 years, but you can help me out now with the down payment. I'll move a lot closer. No, my dad never did that. He hated borrowing. He even hated borrowing credit from credit cards. And he did, because we had it tough. I didn't grow up rich, barely middle class, if you want to even call it that. We were broke. But when he passed, he didn't have any credit card bills. He didn't owe anybody anything. And that's one thing about him as it relates to finances. He always had his finances in order. And we didn't have much to work with, but he made it work. And man, that's just tough to hear, because I didn't have that relationship with my dad. I always looked up to my dad, and he never treated me like that. So to have somebody like this, a dad, take advantage of his son and put him in that predicament, at the end of the day, the son is going to do it. Regardless of this little interaction on the Ramsey show, I feel like the son will do it. Because this little 2-minute interaction on a Ramsey show is not going to replace 30, 50, however long he's been alive, him and his dad's relationship. So sometimes they'll take the advice, but I think more often than not they give in, especially when it comes to family. How could you not, right? You call into a Ramsey show maybe once or twice in your life. You see your family maybe every week, every month, at least once a year, whatever it may be. I'm saying the frequency is a lot higher. So that kind of goes into that factor. Anyway, let's go to the comments. They can't afford it. It's simple. That's a huge betrayal for the dad to ask him for that money. Poor guy thinking his dad is helping him with finance to set up the future. Meanwhile, the dad is actually looking at the ways to exploit his own son. For real. It's pretty sad. We don't know the entire relationship, right? But just based on what we heard and what he shared on the show, the dad is not looking too good in this situation. My husband's family started asking for money as soon as he graduated college and got his first job. He always tried to help. His parents would pay him back, but his siblings did so. He stopped. His siblings never did so. He stopped helping them. There you go. So where does that leave us? We got the manipulators, the one-time gifters, and the hardliners. Here's my take. From 15 years of watching money ruin relationships, keep them separate. If you have the means to help, and you want to help, give it freely. Call it a gift. And if you don't have the means, or if you feel like you're being taken advantage of, no is a complete sentence. Your financial health is the oxygen mask on the airplane. You gotta put yours on first before you can help anyone else. If you drown trying to save them, you both sink. These payments, these loans, literally relationship killers. Don't let a few $1,000s cost you a brother or a daughter. If you enjoyed this breakdown and you want to see more reaction videos like this, or if you just want to learn how to keep your money safe from everyone, including your family, hit that like button, consider subscribing. Let me know in the comments. Remember, make smart moves, not just loud ones. I'll see you on the next video.